I'm 78 years old, and everything you've been told about living a good life is a lie. It took me 57 years to see it, chasing shadows while the real treasure slipped away. Don't make my mistake. Time is shorter than you think. I'm going to tell you a story, my story, the story of a man who wasted most of his life and barely got a second chance. And if you listen carefully, if you let this sink in, maybe you won't have to learn the hard way like I did. And if this message hits you, if it makes you think about your own life, I want you to do something for me. I want you to subscribe to this channel. Not because I need the numbers, but because there are more stories like this coming. Stories that could save you. Stories from people who've learned the hard way. Stories you need to hear before it's too late. Will you do that? Subscribe. Just click that button, because your life might depend on it. I was born in 1947, right after the war. Like so many, I grew up hearing the same old advice. Work hard, build a stable life, save for tomorrow. Someday you'll relax, my parents said. Teachers preached it too. Success means a good job, a house, a family. I bought into it all. Every word, every promise. I was going to be somebody. I was going to matter. But here's the first lesson I want you to understand. Society sells you a lie, wrapped in a beautiful package. They tell you that success equals happiness, that money equals security, that achievement equals fulfillment. And we all believe it because everyone around us believes it. Your parents believed it. Your teachers believe it. Your boss believes it. Your culture celebrates it. But it's a lie. A beautiful, seductive, destructive lie. By 21, I married my wife, a kind woman with big dreams of her own. Her name was Margaret, and she was beautiful, not just on the outside, but in her heart. She wanted to travel, to see the world together. She wanted to write poetry. She wanted to sit on porches and watch sunsets. She wanted a life full of presence and connection. But she fell in love with a man named James, that's me, a man who was too blind to see what he had. We started a family young, 3 kids, including my daughter. Then climbed to supervisor at a big company. I'm providing, I'd say, working late nights, weekends, holidays, missing school plays, and bedtime stories. My youngest son would run to me when I came home at 7 o'clock at night, excited to show me his school project. And I'd pat his head, tell him it looked great, and disappear into the garage to work on something for the office. I was always thinking about work, always planning the next move, the next promotion. Here's the second lesson, and this one is crucial. Your choices compound. Every time you choose work over a moment with your child, you're not just missing that one moment. You're training that child not to expect you. You're teaching them that they don't matter to you. You're building a pattern. Your kids don't even want to spend time with you anymore because you've trained them not to. My wife would leave dinner on the table. Hot meals, her cooking, made with love, and I'd eat it cold, standing up while reviewing papers. She'd look at me from across the kitchen, and I could see the sadness in her eyes. But I didn't see it, not really. I was too busy to notice, too busy to understand that she was slowly giving up on having a real husband. She was becoming a single parent, except she had a man living in her house. Imagine that. Imagine being married to someone and feeling completely alone. For the first 57 years, it looked perfect on paper. We bought a house in the suburbs, drove a reliable car, saved for college funds. I earned promotions, respect from colleagues, awards hanging on my office wall. People knew my name. They respected me. I was successful. I had achieved the dream that society promised me would make me happy. But inside, I felt empty. Like a house with all the lights on but nobody home. Like a bridge with no one on either side. I was running on a treadmill, I'd think. Always chasing the next milestone. A raise here, a bigger garage there, a nicer car than the neighbors. But the goalpost kept moving. I'd think, once the kids are grown, I'll travel. Or once I make this promotion, I'll slow down. Or after retirement, I'll write that novel I've dreamed about since I was a boy. Later, always another milestone. Always another reason to wait. Let me tell you the third lesson. And this is something I wish someone had beaten into my head when I was young. The goalposts never stop moving. Never. You get the raise, and suddenly you need the next promotion. You get the house, and suddenly you need the bigger house. And suddenly you need 2 million. It's an infinite game with no finish line. And if you play it, If you believe that happiness is on the other side of the next achievement, you will waste your entire life. I remember my daughter's 9th birthday party like it was yesterday. She was so excited, she'd been planning it for weeks. She actually begged me to help her blow out the candles and cut the cake. She wanted her father there, not physically, but really there. Present, focused on her, but I was on a work call, a deal that couldn't wait. I told her Daddy would join in just a minute, but that minute turned into 30. By the time I got there, the candles were blown out, the cake was cut, and her eyes, her beautiful eyes, they'd lost that shine, that hope. She was 9 years old. And she already understood that I loved my job more than I loved her. I promised I'd do something special that weekend. I swore to her I would make it up to her. Instead, I went into the office on a Saturday, while my little girl waited at home. When I came back Sunday night, she'd already fallen asleep. My wife just looked at me, disappointment, resignation, like she'd given up hope I'd ever change. That moment, I'll never forget it, but I didn't act on it. Kept telling myself it would be worth it, that one day they would understand, that one day I would explain why I sacrificed everything for my career. But that day never came. My son, he was different from me. He was athletic, talented. He had a gift for baseball. Every season, he'd want me to come to his games. I went to maybe 3 in 10 years, 3 games, out of hundreds. I'd say I was working, which was true, but I could have gone. I could have made time. But time was the one thing I refused to give. And my son, he stopped asking. By the time he was 12, he'd given up. He'd stopped telling me about his games. He'd stopped expecting me to be there. That was worse than anything he could have said to me, because I'd trained my own son not to want his father. Here's the 4th lesson. And if you're still watching, please hear this. Your presence or absence is the message. Your kids don't need you to be rich. They don't need you to be impressive. They don't need you to have status. They just need you to show up, to be there, to pay attention, because presence is love, and absence is rejection. Even if you don't mean it that way, that's how they experience it. Your child asks you to watch their game, and you say no because you're working. What they hear is, my work is more important than you. You miss their birthday party. What they hear is, I don't care about you. You're on your phone during dinner. What they hear is, what I'm doing is more important than spending time with you. These messages compound, and by the time they're teenagers, they don't even want you around anymore. Then came the wake-up call that shattered everything. It was 2004, I was 57, in a high-stakes meeting, pitching a project I'd slaved over for months. I'd stayed up most nights for 3 weeks, perfecting it. 3 weeks of my life gone. 3 weeks I could have spent with my family, but instead I gave it to a company. A company that would replace me within 6 months if I died tomorrow. My chest tightened like a vice grip, like someone was wringing my heart like a wet towel. I ignored it at first, just stressed, I thought, running on adrenaline and coffee. But this was different. Midway through my presentation, my vision started to blur. My words got slurred. My boss looked concerned. And then everything went black. I collapsed in that conference room. In front of my colleagues, the people I'd spent decades impressing, I fell to the floor like a marionette with cut strings. Paramedics rushed me to the hospital. Sirens, oxygen masks, strangers working on my chest. For a moment I thought I was dying, and my only thought wasn't about my achievements. It wasn't about my bank account or my job title. It was, I haven't lived. Diagnosis, a severe heart attack. The doctor said I was lucky to survive. Lucky. Constant worry, stress that I'd let build up like rust on metal. They said I was 57 going on 77. My body had aged faster than my years because I'd treated it like a machine, pushing it, ignoring its cries for help, never resting, never slowing down. Lying in that sterile bed, tubes running into my arms. Machines beeping all around me, I faced death for the first time. Really faced it. Not as an abstract concept, but as a real present possibility. What if my heart had stopped? What if I didn't wake up? What would my children remember about me? What would be said at my funeral? I saw my life flash, I remember. But it wasn't like the movie show. It wasn't quick. It was slow, agonizing, watching all the moments I'd missed like a reel of film playing in my mind. Not the promotions or the house, but the moments I missed. Like the time my son begged me to watch his baseball game. I said no. Deadline at work. He struck out the winning run, came home beaming, but I wasn't there. I wasn't there for my son's moment of glory. Another parent was, but not me. Or my brother, we fought over something silly in our 40s, something so stupid I can't even remember what it was now. But I let pride keep us apart for years. We didn't speak at holidays. We didn't call each other. Just silence, stubborn, pointless silence. And then he died suddenly at 62 from cancer. I got the call at work. My brother was dead, and the last thing I'd said to him was cruel, angry. I never got to apologize. I never got to say, I'm sorry, I love you, I miss you. Those words, I'll carry them unsaid to my grave. Oh, we loved each other, but I put work before us. Weekend getaways canceled, anniversaries forgotten. She'd plan a special dinner, light candles, and I'd get a call from the office and disappear. I treated her like she was background music, always there, always supporting, but never really heard. She passed at 65 from a stroke. The doctor said stress, high blood pressure, years of worry. She was worried about me, about us, about the life we weren't living. And on her deathbed, she said something I'll never forget. We should have danced more, she said. Nos, I wish you'd made more money. Not I wish you'd been more successful. Just, we should have danced more. That's all she wanted, to dance with her husband, and I couldn't even give her that. I thought about friends, two real stories that hit me hard in that hospital bed. One was Martin, my best friend from school. We went to school together, played football together, dreamed together about what we'd become. He was brilliant, charismatic, destined for greatness. He hustled his whole life, building a business empire, working constantly, never stopping. His first marriage failed because he wasn't present. His second marriage failed for the same reason. He had 3 kids by different women, and he barely knew any of them. He died alone at 68 in a mansion full of stuff, a mansion that cost him millions, filled with art he never looked at, furniture he never sat on, a life he never lived. His son, his only son from his first marriage, didn't even come to his funeral. Can you imagine building everything and ending with nothing at his memorial service? Nobody had stories about his kindness, his presence, his love. They had stories about his business deals, about his money, about his power. And that was it. That was his legacy. Success. I scoffed myself in that hospital bed. It's a trap. You think money and status fill the void. But they don't. They don't even dent it. You just keep chasing, keep working, keep telling yourself one more deal, one more promotion, one more achievement, and by the time you realize it's empty, you're already spent. You're already tired. You're already old. Here's the 5th lesson. The most important one. Your legacy is not measured in money or titles. It's measured in the people you loved, the moments you were present for, the hearts you touched. Will your children remember your promotions? Will they remember your salary? No. Will they remember the awards on your wall? No. But they will remember whether you showed up, whether you were present, whether you loved them enough to make time for them. That's your legacy. That's all that matters. I had a drawer full of unwritten letters to old friends, people I'd meant to reach out to for years. I had a list of places I'd never seen: Paris, the Grand Canyon, the temples of Japan, even a simple beach walk with bare feet. I'd been to the beach, to vacations, but I'd been working the whole time, checking email, taking calls, my mind in the office, even when my body was on the sand. And my health? I treated my body like a machine, not like the miracle it is. Skipping checkups because I was too busy. Eating on the run, fast food, processed stuff, never cooking, never sitting down for a meal. Sleeping 5 hours a night, thinking it was a badge of honor. Stress, constant stress, my shoulders always tight, my jaw always clenched. That heart attack was my body's final scream, wake up, please, wake up. But here's where it gets hopeful. Here's where my story transforms. Because lying in that hospital bed, something broke open in me. Not my heart, but the wall I built around it. Something shifted. And I made a decision. Right there, with tubes in my arms, with death looking me in the eyes, I decided to live. After the hospital, I changed everything. And I mean everything. I stepped back from my job, took early retirement, even if it meant a smaller pension. My boss tried to convince me to come back. They offered me a raise, more flexible hours. But I'd already seen the trap. I wasn't going back. I said no to distractions, I decided. No more impressing bosses or neighbors. No more climbing a ladder that doesn't go anywhere. No more living for the future at the expense of the present. I reconciled with family. I called my daughter and apologized. Not a quick apology, but a real one. I told her I was sorry for missing her childhood. I told her about the birthday party, that I'd thought about it every day since. I told her I loved her, and I meant it. She cried on the phone, and I cried, and we started rebuilding our relationship, brick by brick, moment by moment. I wrote that novel, the one I'd been talking about for 30 years. It was about a man rediscovering joy through relationships and simple pleasures, a man learning to live before it was too late. I self-published it. It never became a bestseller, but I beamed like I'd written Shakespeare. Because I did it. I created something. I expressed something that was in my heart. I traveled solo trips at first to find myself. Then, with my grandkids, we hiked in national parks, their eyes wide with wonder at the majesty of nature. We laughed over campfires, staying up late telling stories. I taught them about stars, about constellations, about the vastness of the universe, and how small our problems really are. I was fully there. No phone, no work, just a grandfather and his grandchildren under the stars. I prioritized health not in a gym-obsessed way, but in a real way. Walks every morning, watching the sunrise, listening to the birds, my mind becoming quiet for the first time in decades. Home-cooked meals with loved ones, food as a way to express love, to slow down, to connect. I finally listened to my body instead of ignoring it, and presence really being there. Not just physically, but mentally. Phones away, emails forgotten, weekly calls with my daughter, asking about her life, remembering the details, showing up not just in the big moments but in the small ones. Game nights, my grandchildren teaching me video games and laughing at how bad I was. Spontaneous hugs, teaching my grandkids to fish, not saying anything, just sitting together, waiting, enjoying the silence, sitting on the porch at sunset with no agenda, just watching the sky change colors. Orange, pink, purple, red, all those colors existence offers for free if you just take time to see them. I'd spent 57 years missing this, missing the sky, missing my family, missing my own life. In those last 21 years since my heart attack, I learned more about living than in the first 57. I found joy in the small things, I realized. A sunrise, a child's laugh, a quiet conversation over morning coffee, a hand held, a tear shed, a story shared. Time isn't money, it's everything. It's the only thing that matters. It's the only currency that's real. My daughter started opening up to me again. We became friends, not just parent and child. She told me things, dreams, fears, things she'd never shared when I was too busy. Things she kept locked away because she learned early that her father wasn't available. But now, at 78, I got to know my daughter. Really know her. And she got to know me, not the successful businessman, but the real me, the broken, learning, growing man underneath. My grandkids grew up knowing me, really knowing me. Not a distant figure who worked too much, not a cardboard cutout who only appeared at holidays, but their grandfather who was present, who listened, who made memories. They'd want to spend time with me. They'd ask me questions. They'd trust me. And that meant more than any promotion ever did. And my health improved. The walks became part of who I am now. I cook, something I never did before. I learned that it's meditative, calming, a way to express love to the people you feed. There's something sacred about preparing food for people you love. It's one of the oldest forms of love, going back to cavemen cooking meat over fires for their families. I volunteer at a community center teaching kids to read. It's the most meaningful work I've ever done. And it pays nothing, no money, no status, no recognition. But I get more fulfillment from 1 hour there than I did from years in that corporate office building presentations for people I didn't even like. Those kids, they smile at me, they call me Mr. James, they show me their progress. And I'm part of something real. I'm making an actual difference in actual lives. I had one more realization that changed everything. Time is the only currency that matters. Money, you can earn more. You can invest it, grow it, spend it wisely or foolishly. But there's always more. You can borrow it. You can earn it back. You can make more money in a year than most people make in a lifetime. But time only goes one direction. Every minute you spend on something is a minute you can never get back. You cannot earn more time. You cannot borrow time. You cannot negotiate with time. It just flows, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. And when it's gone, it's gone. So the question isn't how much money will you make, it's how you'll spend your time. Because your time is your life. They're the same thing. When you're spending time, you're spending life. Every moment you give to something is a moment you take from something else. So choose wisely, choose intentionally, choose what matters. Here's the sixth lesson. And this one will change your life if you let it. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. It's not a test run. This is it. This is the only life you get. You're not getting a do-over. You're not getting a second chance. Well, I got one, but most people don't. Most people get one shot. Most one chance to love, to create, to experience, to grow. So stop treating it like you're practicing for something else. Stop treating it like you're preparing for the real thing. This is the real thing, this moment, right now. If I could speak to you as my younger self, here's what I'd say. Lessons for everyone. Cut back on something else, but book it. That passion project? Start it, even if it's just a few hours a week, even if it's terrible at first. Start it, because creation, actual creation of something from nothing, that fills a part of your soul that consumption never can. Say I love you every day. Don't wait for a crisis. Pick up the phone. Tell them you love them. You don't know how much time they have left. I didn't know until my mother had a stroke and couldn't speak anymore. I spent 3 weeks sitting by her bedside, wishing I'd said, I love you more, wishing I'd called more often, wishing I'd just been there more. Don't wait. Work hard, sure, but not at the cost of your soul, not at the cost of your health, not at the cost of your relationships. Your job, any job, is not worth your life. I don't care how much they pay you. I don't care how prestigious it is. No job is worth missing your child's childhood. No promotion is worth your marriage. No title is worth your health. Build memories, not just to resume. I wish I'd danced more, laughed louder, forgiven faster. You have time now, use it to prevent regrets. Stop scrolling endlessly through your phone. Get out there. Talk to your parents. Really talk to them. Listen to their stories. Ask about their lives. You're learning history, real history, from the people who lived it. Prioritize health early, eat well, move, rest. Your body is a temple, not a machine. Your body is the vehicle that carries your consciousness through this world. Treat it with respect. Treat it with love. Feed it real food. Move it. Rest it. Your future self will thank you. And relationships, they're the real wealth. Not money, not things, but the people you love and who love you. Nurture them like fragile flowers. Show up for your friends, for your family, for your own heart. Be the person who remembers birthdays, who calls just to say hello, who shows up in person. Not just a text. Be the person who is present. For you elders, maybe in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, it's not too late. I proved it at 57. That heart attack was my pivot. Yours could be today. It doesn't have to be a crisis. Let it be a choice. Choose today. Choose right now. Step off the hamster wheel. The job will survive without you. The company will hire someone else. The project will get done, or it won't. And the world will keep spinning. For your family, your relationships, your own soul, they won't survive without you. They'll wither. They'll give up. And then you'll be like Martin, alone in a mansion, or like me, lying in a hospital bed, wishing for another chance. Reconnect with loved ones, mend old wounds. There's someone you need to call right now while you're listening to this. Don't wait until you're in a hospital bed. Don't wait until their funeral. Call them today. Apologize if you need to. Say what needs to be said. Chase those delayed joys, a hobby, a visit, a simple walk. Say no to what drains you, yes to what lights you up. Health is key. Get that checkup. Embrace change. You're wiser now. Use it to live boldly. I say this with all the certainty of someone who's seen both sides. At 78, I was happier than at 28 because I chose presence over perfection. I chose people over power. I chose love over legacy. Well, I chose love, and my real legacy is the love. To all of us, if you died tomorrow, would you be at peace? Think about that. Really think about it. No more someday. Hug your family today. Forgive that grudge. Whatever it is, let it go. Take that risk. Life's not about accumulating. It's about experiencing. It's not about impressing people you don't even like. It's about loving people you do like. The clock is ticking, but you can make every second count. My story could save you from my path. Let it. It's my 78 now, and if I'm lucky stock, maybe I have 10 more years, 20 if blessed. I don't know. Nobody does. That's what I finally understand. That's what took me 57 years to learn. But those 10 or 20 years, thousands of days, I will not waste a single one. I look at my daughter, my grandkids, the people I love, and I realize what I almost lost. Almost missed this. Most spent my entire life chasing something that didn't miss everything that did. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this as you listen. What would you regret most at the end of your life? Would you regret the promotion you didn't get, the money you didn't make, the car you didn't buy? Or would you regret the moments you missed, the love you didn't express, the dreams you didn't chase, the people you didn't spend enough time with? Because I know the answer. I've thought about it every day since my heart attack, and the answer is, you'll regret the moments. Every single time. Nobody dies wishing they'd worked more. Nobody dies wishing they'd made more money. Nobody dies wishing they'd bought a bigger house or a fancier car. They wish they'd lived more. They wish they'd loved more. They wish they'd been present more. If this has resonated with you, if this story has touched something deep inside you, I need to ask you something, and I'm serious. I want you to hit that subscribe button right now. Not because I need subscribers, but because I have more stories like this coming. Stories from people who've learned these lessons. Stories that could change your life. Stories that could save you from making the mistakes I made. Every week, we're bringing stories of transformation, of regret turned to wisdom, of second chances and new beginnings. Subscribe so you don't miss them. Subscribe for your own life. Because the next story might be the one that changes everything for you. And while you're at it, leave a comment. Tell me, what's your story? What's the biggest regret you have? What's the thing you've been putting off? What would you change if you knew you were running out of time? Because your story matters. Your journey matters, and sharing it might help someone else wake up before it's too late. If this resonates, share it with someone who needs it. Maybe it'll spark their change. Maybe it'll save them from 57 years of mistakes. Send it to your parent. Send it to your friend who's always working. Send it to your sibling you haven't talked to in years. Send it to yourself to remind yourself when you're tempted to choose work over love again, because this message is too important to keep to yourself. And stay subscribed. Turn on notifications so you get notified every time we post a new story. Because these stories, they're medicine, they're reminders, they're wake-up calls, and you might need one at just the right moment. I'm leaving this message for you, for my grandchildren, for anyone who'll listen, before it's too late. Live fully, friends. The time you have right now, this moment, it's all you have. Don't waste it. Don't postpone joy. Don't put off love. Don't tell yourself you'll do it later. Later might not come. The clock is ticking, and it never stops. But you can stop. You can pause. You can choose. You can choose right now to live differently, to love more, to be present more, to create memories instead of regrets. That's my message. That's my story. That's what I wish someone had told me when I was young and still had all my time ahead of me. I'm telling you now. Please listen. Please don't make my mistakes. Please don't waste your life. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it changes your life. I hope it saves you from the path I took. And I hope when you're my age, you look back with gratitude, not regret. Live fully, love deeply, be present,